This video is brought to you by Squarespace. Hi guys, it's ASBYT and today we have another episode of ASBYT's BTN, the show that brings you all of the latest and greatest news in the world of tech and with a bit of fun thrown in hopefully. Today we've got 3 stories and one of the main stories is the fact that Samsung isn't now going to be the first for 2 very different reasons. So without further ado, let's get straight to it. Right, so welcome back. Sorry about that. Great little stocking filler for the upcoming Christmas period. If you want to make somebody look really ridiculous or really cool, whatever your take is on these. Customizable. So without further ado, let's go. See what I did there? Link in the description if you want a pair. Right, so the first of the 3 stories today revolves around the race for the fully bezel-less smartphone display without a notch or a moving part. Durability-wise and longevity-wise, you're probably not going to get the best bang for your buck. However, before you jump the gun and say it's not possible, until the Samsung Galaxy S10, which I did a video on, we were expecting that to be the first of its kind, but it seems Samsung have lost the race because we have the first ever smartphone, I believe it is, the first ever smartphone to have a fully bezel-less display without a notch and without moving parts, and it comes in the form of the ZTE Nubia X, or 10, if we're going down Roman numerals again. I wish they'd just call a spade these days in the world of tech. It's very confusing. Now, ZTE aren't a new company. They've been around for quite a few years, but they kind of jumped into the news with the release of the ZTE Accent M. It was kind of more successful as a concept phone than it was as an actual retail phone, but they did sell a few. But let's just talk about what they have just released. So we're going to look to the specs. We've got a 6.26 inch Full HD Plus display, 3800 mAh battery capacity. It is an LCD screen and not an OLED screen if that's important to you. Android 8.1, Adreno 630 GPU, storage of 128 or 256 gigabytes. It comes in 3 different variants, 6 gigabytes of RAM and 64 gigabytes of storage, or 8 gigabytes of RAM and either 128 gigabytes of storage or 256 gigabytes of storage. And as far as we're aware, it's going to retail for roughly around 400 to 500 euros. This will vary between currencies, but it's roughly around that ballpark. I have a link for it in the video description below if you want to go through and check it out. It is a lot more expensive in that link right now, simply because it is so new. But if you leave it a couple of weeks or a month or so, that link will surely drop in price and you might get it for a bit of a bargain. Great specs, but obviously the main talking point is that full bezel-less display. And the reason how they've been able to do it and still have the ability to have a front-facing camera, etc., is if you flip the phone over, it also has a display on the back. And I'm a little bit annoyed, to be honest, because this was my idea that I actually mentioned a few days ago at the OnePlus 6T launch. I was speaking to a few people. Unfortunately, I wasn't quick enough out of the blocks. ZTE have already beat me to it. And of course, there are disadvantages to this style of phone. Cases, for example. Will you be able to put a case on the back because you've got the display for that front-facing camera? I don't know. Is it innovative? Yes. Does the design look great? Yes. Is it practical? Really? I'm not so sure. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. Now we're going to jump onto story number 2. And this revolves around the company Xiaomi and their electric scooters, believe it or not. I know it's a strange one. We don't usually cover scooters on this channel, but I thought it was a story worthwhile because apparently they are a little bit annoyed right now that certain companies in the United States are using their scooters for public services. So the likes of Lyft, Spin and Bird all use these Xiaomi scooters and they customize them and change them a little bit to suit their services and sort of roll it out and obviously charge for the general public using the scooters to get around town. Now Xiaomi have actually written these different companies a formal letter to kind of cease and desist using these scooters for their specific services. As a statement from Xiaomi themselves actually reads, "We also do not condone Lyft's unauthorized modification or retrofitting of our electric scooters for general public use. They have been modified without our consent in public scooter rentals." And apparently Xiaomi will pursue legal action if they don't stop using their scooters basically for their rentals. Now Lyft have actually come back with a statement saying basically it's got no knowledge of using Xiaomi's trademarks in its advertising and they will address Xiaomi themselves. And I think Lyft might just have to ride the wave with this one. That's so bad. How this is going to play out, we will wait and see. But like I said, I thought it was a little bit interesting. I've lost the screen again behind me. I thought I'd put it on no sleep, and there it is. Bluetooth mouse. And the final story of the day again revolves around Samsung and their quest to be the first. And we've mentioned they've kind of now been beaten already to the fully bezel-less display without notches and without moving parts. But also, one of the big things they wanted to be first in was, as you well know, the foldable phone. The tablet into a phone, all in one, flexible display, Galaxy F, Galaxy X, Galaxy Z, whatever you wanted to call it, that is what they wanted to be, and they rushed forward the announcement. I said the date on the last video that I did. There's a conference out in San Francisco to compete with Huawei, who were also pushing them to be the world's first foldable phone. And unfortunately for Samsung, even though they brought the date forwards, they've been beaten to the punch by Huawei. It's not Huawei. Not even Huawei could get there first. I'll tell you who got there first, and I'm going to have to read this. Royoli, Ravioli, Flex Pie. Royal Flex Pie, the world's first foldable phone. Yeah, I'm as stunned as you are. I've never heard of them either, but hats off to them because they've developed a product which is the world's first. And that's quite a feat. Now, whether I'd buy it is another matter, and we'll get into the details right now because as you can see here, I don't feel this is necessarily very practical. And yes, I believe Samsung will probably produce something, and Huawei as well, something a little bit more design friendly and user-friendly. But let's talk specs, and then I'll talk about why I don't think this is necessarily going to work. It has the world's first 7nm Qualcomm SoC, and most devices won't really get a 7nm Qualcomm chip until the 855 with the likes of the Samsung Galaxy S10. In terms of OS, it is running an Android fork called Water OS, 16 megapixel and a 20 megapixel dual rear camera, with one of them being a telephoto lens. It comes in different variants of 6GB of RAM and 128GB of onboard storage, or 8GB of RAM, 256GB of storage, or 8GB of RAM and 512GB of storage. So just over half a terabyte of storage on this little device you can actually buy. I say little device, that would be a massive lie. It's 7.8 inches when folded out into tablet mode, and then when folded in half it goes down to 4. So in terms of sort of size that way, I could see it working. But also it looks, and again I can't really tell unless I get my hands on it, so Royoli Flex Pie, if you want me to test it, I will do that. It looks quite thick, to be honest, once folded. Like I said, amazing that they've got there as the world's first, beating Samsung, beating Huawei. Is it gonna sell? I can't really see it, but let me know in the comment section below what you think. Do we need it? Do we want it? Or do we not want it at all? And in terms of pricing, again, it's not going to be cheap. We're looking at around £1,000 base price for this device. It's not going to be for everyone, but it is a niche phone. And as far as niche phones go, they are never for everyone. I'm sure there will be quite a few people that would want to go out and buy the world's first foldable phone. I possibly might not be one of them. Let me know if you are. Right, so as I mentioned at the start, this video is sponsored by Squarespace, and it's an absolutely great tool for you guys who need a new domain, a website, or an online store. And it's got some main key features which are as follows. Fantastic designer templates, and they update these on a regular basis so that you can constantly get fresh material for your online main business or a side job. It's just a complete all-in-one platform, so you can build a website from the ground up with nothing to install, patch, or update ever. Now, I've recently been working on a website myself, and I can honestly say the customer service is also great. If ever I got a problem, pretty much day or night, I get a response very, very quickly. You're also going to need a domain, and you can either set one up on Squarespace, or you can transfer one that you've already created on another website, a third-party website, and you can connect it to the website you've made on Squarespace. Dead easy. If you've gone onto Squarespace to set up an online store, You can manage your products, orders, and inventory all with the touch of a button, and it is honestly a great tool to use. Simple, easy, and quick, Squarespace is a great option and something I definitely think you should check out, especially considering there's a free trial and there's a 10% offer on right now using the link below. You really have nothing to lose. It's completely free to try. I hope you did enjoy another episode of ASBYT's BTN, the show that brings you all the latest and greatest tech news in hopefully a concise and fun way. Like and share if you did enjoy this video and found it helpful. Subscribe and hit that notification bell if you're new to the channel and want to be notified every time I post a video on anything tech, pretty much daily content here on YouTube. I love you and leave you. I'll see you in the next one. So this is BYT. Peace out.